Honestly, the biggest thing I've noticed, first of all, the culture shock from moving from Dubai to Canada. Everyone told me that University of Toronto was very challenging. It helped me with new study techniques, new ways to balance my time. Good things won't come easy in life. So you have to push yourself. You have to know that you're going to struggle for a bit, but that's fine.
Hi, Zaina. Welcome to my podcast. So delighted to see you after 1 year.
Me too.
Absolutely. My pleasure to have you in our podcast session. So today's podcast is going to be about challenges international students face when they go abroad for higher education. So my first question to you, what was the biggest challenge you faced as an international student stepping foot in Canada?
Honestly, the biggest thing I've noticed is that, first of all, the culture shock from moving from Dubai to Canada. There's a big international community in Dubai as well. So that from that end, it wasn't really that much of a challenge or a culture shock. It was just the fact that you were with different people growing up from, they came from different upbringings. Honestly, I was once in a class with a 22-year-old. So I'm used in high school, I'm used to being with people my age and stuff like that. So that was one thing. And other than the cultural shock was the fact that you were kind of all alone and you had to balance your studies with adulthood. And one of the biggest things that scared me and was so scary to do was going to the bank and opening my own bank account. I honestly felt like an adult.
So coming from Dubai, moving to Canada, that's a first transition. Then moving to University of Toronto, one of the largest universities in Canada. Yeah. What was some of the things you really feel you should have known before you left?
Everyone told me that University of Toronto was very challenging, and a lot of people advised me not to go. And it was very, very challenging, as everyone said. And I honestly had an ego battle with the university. I'm it's not going to be that hard. Because I did A-levels, so I thought it would really, really, really prepare me for it, especially coming to a Canadian university. But honestly, although it was challenging and what everyone said was true, it helped me so much, especially with study techniques. In high school, I had a specific study technique. I honestly didn't really balance my time in high school. I just managed all my life to my studies in high school. But honestly, coming to university, it really forced me not to do that. And it helped me with new study techniques, new ways to balance my time, going to the gym and doing my laundry and socializing and also studying. So I honestly think it was a very good choice that I've done, moving abroad and going to the University of Toronto. Their course is very nice as well. A lot of my friends went to the UK, and I noticed if you're comparing Canada or the US and the UK, I've noticed that Canadian universities, especially University of Toronto, has a very well-rounded education. And I didn't only, I studied chemical engineering, and I didn't only learn chemical engineering courses. I also did programming. Some UK unis, actually all UK's unis don't have that. And I learned a new skill. Now I know how to do Python, I know how to program. And not only that, I also heard in third year, I could start picking my minors. So I'm thinking also doing a double minor, one in sustainable energy and the other one in engineering business. I just honestly think Canadian universities have it was a good option, and it was a good choice that I have done, as I wanted a well-rounded experience. And yeah.
So from a small class size in Dubai to one of the largest class lecture halls in Canada, what were the resources that you took advantage of, and what helped you the most?
So in high school, it was just 20 people. Especially if you did A-levels, it was only 10 people in your classroom, or 12, sometimes even 5. But going to university, you had 300 people in your lecture. It was insane. And honestly, at times I found it challenging to keep up with the lecture, because it was moving really fast. But the courses had tutorials, and tutorials were basically like high school classes. They had like 30 people, maximum 40, and you had TAs, like a couple of TAs moving around and coming up to you and like asking you questions, and you can ask as many questions as you'd like. So that was a very good resource, like tutorials. And students as well. People are very friendly and people really want to help each other out. And I honestly like went to a couple of my friends and let them explain to me like a lot of concepts. And it's honestly easier to really talk to your friends or your colleagues from class, because they know the way that students like to grasp things. So they break down things easily, they explain things quickly. So I found that a really good resource as well.
Mm-hmm. Was it easy to make friends as an international student?
Yes, like really. I also, I know some of my friends, they went to universities here in Dubai, and from what I've heard, like universities here, people in unis here in Dubai, people are kind of closed off. They're not really willing to make new friends. But in Canada or like in the UK or in the US or abroad, everyone wants to make friends, everyone. So people would come up to you and talk to you, hi, what's your name, what program, and vice versa. Like everyone seemed very nice. And there was also a lot of orientations. So like I remember for engineering, they had their own orientation. And in the University of Toronto, because it's a very big campus, there's a lot of colleges. So each college had its own orientation for the non-engineering students. So there was a lot of resources and ways to make new friends, and it was very easy.
Did you feel safe in Canada?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. At night, not really. But honestly, in the morning, I felt very safe. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't really worried about a lot of things. I was just, it was very safe.
And how did you deal with homesickness? I know the weather's very different.
Yeah. First semester, it didn't really hit me as much that I left home, like especially the first month, because I was so like caught up with like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. So I didn't really have time to sit down and think. But going home in the winter and then coming back, and then second semester, the weather was really bad. It was really cold. So I honestly got really homesick. And I was very like drowsy the whole time. I was just like I wanted to leave. Like I remember like my last final was on the 28th of April. I booked the flight the 29th of April. Like I wanted to go home as soon as possible. But honestly, I feel like everything has its negatives and positives. And I think moving away from your parents and living alone, that builds character. And I feel like the positives of that like outweighs the negatives of feeling homesick a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Because like honestly, you're going to move out regardless from your house, and you're going to move out from your parents regardless. So I feel like I'd rather get that now as early as I could than get that later on in my life. Yeah.
Did you apply to other countries as well?
Yeah, I applied to the UK, and I applied to Canada. That's it. And I applied to the UAE as well as a safety.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did Canada win the decision?
Honestly, a lot of things. First thing, like the courses, if we compare the courses, I'm the type of person that I don't really like doing one thing and dedicating my life to one thing. I like to do a lot of things. Like I want to experiment a bit in this course. I want to see it. Like I want to do like a business course. I want to do this. I want to do that. And the UK doesn't really facilitate for that. If you're the type of person that would like to just stick with one thing and you're really sure about your degree and you want to finish it quick because it's only 3 years in the UK, I honestly think the UK would be the best option for me if I was that person. But I didn't want to do that. But with Canada, also the program offered co-op. So it's not, so basically I finished in 5 years, but it's 4 years of education. And then I have a year after third year of co-op. And especially for engineering, I feel like it's very, very valuable to get into industry and do a lot of work in that case. Because with engineering, like your experience in the industry is more important. That's what I heard from upper years and TAs and stuff like that. They told us like your exposure in the industry is far more valuable than your education. Of course, your education is important, but industry is very, very important. So on it, that also was the reason why I levitated towards Canada. And yeah.
Have you had a chance to connect with the industry experts with the help of Career Center?
Yeah. Honestly, not the Career Center, but UFT hosted a lot of career fairs, and I attended to like all of them. And I moved around and talked to like a lot of booths and got to know like the popular industries in Canada and stuff like that. Honestly, in the club fairs, they were more gravitated towards third years and fourth years, especially third years because they're starting their co-op soon. So that was their main focus. And that's what they told us all, me and my friends. But it was still a good experience to know like what they required, what they wanted. I remember I had to print out my resume just so they can, to give it to them, just so they can have it. And honestly, I think that if they were interested, they would have emailed me back. So I wasn't that successful with that, but I found it still like interesting to go and figure out what they would like and things like that. Like I noticed, especially for chemical engineering, the most popular industry was the nuclear industry and the battery industry as well. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you faced any sort of racism or biased attitude, considering you're an international student and not Canadian, when it comes to the part-time jobs or other opportunities available?
Racism, not really. Like everyone has been super friendly. Everyone is super nice. I haven't like noticed anything at all. Honestly, people wanted to be more like wanted to be friends with you more when they figured out you were international students, especially the Canadians, because they found us really cool and really different. Like, oh, they wanted to know where you grew up, like where you're from. It was really nice with that. But I think with career-wise, of course, Canadian students have more of like they were more likely to get opportunities like job opportunities and stuff like that. But I think if you were really, really, really good at what you're doing, I don't think that would draw you back and hold you back into doing what you wanted to do. Of course, Canadian students are the priority in like, especially in jobs and co-op, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not really a major thing.
Are you part of any clubs or societies that have helped you integrate better?
I haven't joined any society or clubs, but I have joined a hackathon. It was a nuclear engineering related hackathon. It was really fun. You got into groups with random people you've never met, and they were upper years, so it was also good. Like when we had a break or so, I got to like ask them a couple of questions about like upper year and how it is. I also joined the bioengineering competition, so I joined things like that, like competitions, hackathons. I went to the clubs fair and I've saw really nice societies, and I really wanted to join like a bioengineering society, but I didn't really have time for that because they wanted to host like it was like a 4-month summer like program where you were in like, you could do research like in their lab, but I honestly didn't want to spend 4 months of my summer like in Canada. I really wanted to go home. So I think that kind of like was a challenge for me, like contemplating whether I should go home and see my family or stay back in the summer and like really like see these opportunities. And
What has been the hardest thing to adjust to?
Honestly, the weather. Like that was the biggest thing. The weather and course load. Course load was definitely a thing. Like high school, like my high school was a bit challenging, but I feel like going to university, wherever you go, it's a completely different system, and they purposely do this. Like especially the first semester, they purposely want to make it as hard as they can because they want everyone to start from the same like way, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people came from IB, some people came from AP, some people came from a Canadian high school. So they didn't want anyone to get an advantage over the other. So they just made everyone like basically start the same, if that makes any sense.
So how did you overcome the rigorous course load issue? Which University of Toronto is known for?
Honestly, I don't know how to I don't know what to say. Like, I think at first I had to prioritize my studies just to make sure I'm on track and I'm good with all my courses. And I think one major thing is not to be afraid to ask questions. I've noticed a lot of people shy down to ask questions, and some people feel like, oh, they sound dumb. No, it's okay. Like go there and ask questions. Even if you're going to annoy your TA or whatever, just ask questions and ask your friends, ask whoever you want, any question you need, because in the end of the day, it's going to benefit you. And you don't want to fail a course, you know. So it's very like, that's what I did, just ask questions, as many questions as I could, and I made sure I left the lecture like actually understanding what was going on. If I had to ask a question in the lecture, it was like, of course I got nervous because like you had to ask a question in front of like 100 people or so, but you get used to it. You just have to get out your comfort zone. That's it.
What was your first year class size like?
Even even second semester like was very like crowded as well. I think it depends on the lecture. So some lectures only had like 50, 60, 70 people, and some lectures had like 200 people, 300. It's a lecture room called My Hall 150. It's really, really big. Like, I think it's 400 people. It's very, very big. So it was very shocking too.
And was it easy to communicate with the professors?
Yeah. They basically, like, if you had a question, you put your hands up, and the bigger lecture rooms had TAs walking around. So if you had a question, sometimes the TA would come and answer your question. Or if you wanted the question to be answered by the professor, the professor would like give you his mic. So like you ask the question so everyone could hear your question as well. And he would answer it back with a mic as well so everyone could hear the answer as well. And I've noticed this as well. Our lectures were very interactive. It wasn't the professor sitting there passively just reading out lecture slides. It was very interactive. Like the professor always wanted to like involve the students. So randomly, like he would call out the table and be like, "It's row D, answer this." Like it was very interactive. Yeah.
What would be the one advice you would give to international students who are targeting top universities?
Honestly, I think they should come with a positive mindset and also have kind of a realistic mindset that it's going to be tough, it's going to be hard, but that's okay. Like, I feel like good things won't come easy in life. So you have to push yourself. You have to know that you're going to struggle for a bit, but that's fine. Like, good things come with struggle. And you should also be prepared that at times you would feel like you don't really want to do this, and like you want to go back home. But no, like you have to toughen up and just stick through it, and it's going to be worth it. Yeah.
Student success is balancing academics, self-care, and your course load. Yeah. How did you manage all of that? You've done well.
Honestly, I've set like a time. Like every Sunday, I call it self-care day. Of course, I study that day as well. But like I have like a dedicated like 3 hours, 2 hours of my day doing self-care. And sometimes, occasionally, I'd go out on runs or like go out on walks. But of course, the weather like held me back sometimes because sometimes it was actually difficult to walk in the snow. So I couldn't really do that, but it's fine. Like I stayed at home, maybe watched my favorite movie, ate my favorite snack. Like every week I made sure to eat like my favorite like food. Like you have to treat yourself because that's like a way that's going to keep you motivated and keep you going, because university burnout is real. Like there was times I got really burnt out, especially like with university. It's not like high school, especially with A-levels. Like you can really like slack off throughout the year and then like the last 3 months really push yourself. But with university, you have to 24/7 put effort, study as much as you can. Also cramming, cramming. At first, I was cramming everything because I didn't really know how to balance my time. Like I really struggled with that. Either I was socializing and not studying, or I was studying and not socializing, or I was not exercising and studying. Like I didn't really know how to balance my time. But honestly, like it's fine to like feel like you failed with balancing time and stuff. Like you honestly learn. Like it's a learning curve. Like one day you're really good at balancing your time, the other you're not. So you just have to, you're going to fail sometimes, you're going to learn from that. You just have to keep going. And most important thing, you have to like treat yourself. Like that's the biggest thing, treat yourself. Either like see your best friend, see your friend, spend some time with them, call your family, let them know your struggles, like be transparent with that as well. I feel like that helps so much. Like keeping everything inside is not good. Yeah, so self-care is very important.
So was there a moment when you felt that you're struggling with a particular course? Did you get upset or did you seek help?
So the one of the biggest one of the courses that I struggled with was the programming course, the Python, because I've never touched a computer in my life. Like I never knew how to code. I'm studying chemical engineering. Like why do I need to code? But honestly, I really struggled with that. I remember my first midterm, I failed it. But when I saw that, honestly, I didn't let that hold me back. I'm not going to I'm the type of person, like if I do bad in one thing, I'm not going to let that ruin like my success and like all the good things and all the effort I put throughout the year. So I just stuck with it. I had to like just study as much as I can. Like that was the most course that I put the most effort in, because it was my weakest course, which is fine. Like in uni, you're going to have your weak courses, you're going to have your strengths. That's fine. But you just need to know that your weak courses, you just need to put more effort than you usually would do. And like there was times like I spent like the whole day in the library, like just to like make sure I do good in that course. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Do you think you made the right choice choosing chemical engineering?
Yeah. I honestly think I did a really good choice with that. I initially wanted to study architecture. So I had a whole dilemma on like whether I should stick with architecture or not. It's deep down, it's still a passion of mine to create things and design things, but chemical engineering has a big aspect. Engineering in general has a huge aspect with design. There's like a sector in the industry called product design. It's very similar to architecture. Like you can be creative, you can express yourself with that. So from the creativity side, chemical engineering really has that. And second thing, with industry, like chemical engineering would open like my prospects so much. Like there's chemical engineering in every industry, the pharmaceuticals, the petrochemicals, like so many things. Like I can think of so many things. Like so, I think I did a good choice with that. It's going to open my options when I graduate, and I can really pick whatever industry I really want to be in. You can be in finance, you can be in marketing, you can be in business. I think it's a very good option.
Great. Are you planning to be a part of the professional experience year of your program?
Yeah, I signed up to it.
You signed up for it, okay.
Yeah.
And you started meeting the companies and...
Not yet. Third year, you start doing that. You start preparing for third year. But so far, I'm starting to build my connections from now, starting to ask upper years as well about any advice or things I could do earlier on, so I can be as prepared as I can third year. Also, the University of Toronto has a career center, and they can help you prepare, of course, for interviews and with your resume and stuff like that. And they can also help you find jobs, because any university you go to, they have, or even professors, they have connections with people in the industry, and they could always refer to you to them.
Perfect. So you're seeing a lot of changes happen in Canada, like every other country.
Yeah.
What are your tips for students who are planning to choose a particular country for higher education? What should they be looking at?
Okay. First thing, I think employment, or like how hard is it to get a job? I feel like a vital or a very important aspect of studying abroad is getting some work experience at that country, because of course studying abroad is very valuable, but like getting work experience abroad is very, very valuable. I think it's extremely valuable, especially if you're planning to come back to Dubai. That's what I heard. So that's one thing. And the second thing is the weather. Like they should know that, like let's say you want to go to Canada, just know it's very cold sometimes, and it's like snowing 24/7. And like if you know someone there, like it's good to go to a university or a country that you at least know someone there. Like maybe, like of course you shouldn't decide or like change your future based on who is there and who's not, but it's good to know a couple of people there, like your comfort people at least, so like you feel safe and relaxed at least, like
So maybe you can talk about, as a high schooler, when you were looking at the programs and you were comparing architecture with this, what helped you decide which one?
Oh, like chemical engineering?
Yeah. Okay. Like which one, and then which country, which university?
So I feel like you need to look for two things. First thing is the course you're going to study. That was one thing you have to look at when you're picking university options. When you're picking a course that you want to study, you have to start streamlining basically how that happens is that you look at the industry you're interested in. Let's say you're interested in energy, or let's say you're interested in buildings or cars, or I don't know, banking. So you first look at the industry you're interested in, and then you can talk to professionals as well in that industry. That really helps. And then next thing is you can also do an internship in that industry. That's what I did as well. And then second thing is that you start looking at the courses that are relevant to that industry. Let's say you're interested in cars. You can look at like mechanical engineering. They're related to cars, or like buildings, architecture, things of that nature. And with me, I was interested in architecture. Like, it was a childhood passion of mine. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do architecture internship to make sure I really would want, am I willing to work in that industry in the future? So I did an internship. It was a 3-week internship. Honestly, it wasn't the best. Like, the internship itself was good, but I didn't like the lifestyle of an architect. I thought it wouldn't really suit me and what I wanted. It's a very intense job, very intense. And so that internship helped me really cancel architecture completely. And I'm a creative person. I'm also interested in the petrochemical and the energy industry. What can I do with that? Engineering, so chemical engineering. So you really look at your skills and the things you enjoy, and then you also merge that with the industry you want to work in. And also, you should do an internship. I really advise that. Or talk to professionals in that industry, and that would help you streamline yourself to pick the course you want to do. And second thing is the country you want to study in. You should first look in the lifestyle. Like, let's say you want to study in Europe. Like, the lifestyle of Europe is very different from the lifestyle in the US or in Dubai or in Egypt. Like, you just need to also look at the lifestyle of the country you want to study in, and the weather conditions, of course. That's a big factor. And yeah, I think these are the two main things you look at when you're picking your university. And I think the third thing that would really help is having a counselor. That really helps. Really helps. Yeah.
How did having a counselor help you?
It helped me streamline the course I wanted, because again, I was in a dilemma between architecture and maybe even business or even chemical engineering. I was in a big dilemma, and having a counselor helped me streamline correctly. Because sometimes when you streamline to pick the course you want, you can go into this whole tangent and get confused, and it's not the best. And it gave me structure. I knew what I have to do exactly, and planning the structure was something I didn't really need to worry about, or planning what I needed to do every single day to apply for a course, or that is a stress enough. And I was so grateful to not have that stress, because you have to, during that time when you're picking for universities or getting offers or accepting offers, you have to balance your studies, which are very important because these determine whether you're going to university or not. And you also had to manage the fact that you're picking your university and the course. So I think having a counselor really helped me balance my time and prioritize my studies as much as I wanted to.
Zaina, thanks so much for sharing your story with our students and parents. And to all our audience, it was great having you guys. If you have any questions about choosing a particular country, program, or study options, do connect back with Futures Abroad.